What would happen if all human waste was dumped into the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Imagine this. Every day, every single human on Earth, all of their waste, instead of going into toilets, sewage systems, or treatment plants, we dump all of it into one single point, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. No pipes breaking, no politics, just physics, biology, and a truly unfortunate amount of poop. Would we create a new island? A dead zone? Or accidentally build the world's biggest fishing paradise? Let's break it down. Step 1. How much are we talking about? On average, one human produces about 150 grams of feces per day. With roughly 8 billion people, that's 12 million tons of human waste every single day. That's not a metaphor. That's not a joke. That's the mass equivalent of dumping over 1,000 fully loaded aircraft carriers into the ocean every day. Step 2. Why the middle of the Pacific matters. The open ocean is not as alive as people think. Most marine life clusters near coastlines, where rivers bring nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus from land. But the center of the Pacific Ocean is one of the most nutrient-poor regions on Earth. In fact, near the South Pacific Gyre, there's an area over 22 million square kilometers where biological activity is extremely low. Think of it as a marine desert. So what happens when you suddenly dump massive amounts of nutrient-rich organic material into a desert? Step 3. The short-term effect. An explosion of life. At first, it's chaos, but the good kind. Human waste is packed with nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. Phytoplankton, algae, microorganisms. They multiply explosively. Plankton sits at the very bottom of the marine food chain. More plankton means more food. Small fish arrive, then bigger fish, then predators. Within months, you'd accidentally create something like a man-made whale fall. Except instead of one dead whale, it's 1 million tons of food arriving daily. For a while, this spot becomes one of the most productive fishing zones on Earth. From space, it would probably look greener than its surroundings. Step 4. The long-term effect. Everything goes very wrong. Here's the problem. You don't stop dumping. 12 million tons. Every single day. Eventually, the ecosystem can't process it fast enough. Dead organisms sink. Bacteria decompose them. And bacteria consume oxygen. A lot of oxygen. Over time, the water beneath the dumping point becomes hypoxic, dangerously low in oxygen. Fish flee. Anything that can't escape dies. Then it gets worse. Without oxygen, anaerobic bacteria take over and start producing hydrogen sulfide, a toxic gas that smells like rotten eggs and kills most marine life. What's left is a biological wasteland. No fish, no diversity, just bacteria adapted to low oxygen conditions. From a vibrant ecosystem to a marine dead zone. Step 5. Could this create a new island? At this point, someone always asks, if we dump this much material, wouldn't it eventually pile up and form land? Short answer, no. Here's why. Human feces are about 75% water. Only 25% is solid material, and most of that is organic. When dumped into the ocean, it disperses. It dissolves. It gets eaten or broken down. Even if you collected all human waste for an entire year, dried it completely, and compressed it into a rock-like solid, you get about 0.06 cubic kilometers of material. That's roughly a cube for 100 meters on each side. Now compare that to the Pacific Ocean's average depth of 4 kilometers. That island would disappear into the ocean like a sugar cube in hot coffee. Step 6. But what about islands made of bird poop? You might be thinking of places like Nauru, which became rich from bird droppings. But here's the key difference. Nauru already had a coral reef foundation. The guano didn't build the island, it coated an existing one and slowly mineralized into phosphate rock over thousands of years. No foundation means no island. You can't build land on water using wet organic sludge. Physics does not negotiate. So what happens if we dump all human waste into the middle of the Pacific? Short term, a brief explosion of marine life. Long term, a massive toxic dead zone. No new islands, no land reclamation, just fish, and then no fish. In the end, all we really achieve is feeding the ocean briefly, before suffocating it, which is probably why sewage systems exist.